Hello, everybody. This is Kaiser's Mansion here. So, this is the first time I showed my face on camera. Pretty sure you're all wondering why I'm making this video on a shitty phone video. Well, I wanted to talk about the upcoming Justice League movie. See, everybody is probably pretty excited about the JLA movie. Well, understandably so. They haven't done ones for a while. It's not something that they can just do after the last time. So there are going to be criticisms, doubts. It feels rushed. But the only thing we have it to compare to is the Marvel movies, which brings up the question: Marvel movies or DC movies? Which one is better? Well, Marvel movies had a little more time to develop. DC, not so much. Yes, we've had DC movies, but let's do the math a little bit, right? Okay. So in Marvel, you have the Defenders coming out on Netflix. So they've been preparing that for quite some time. And well, with the Defenders, it was apparent from Daredevil season 1 that they had no intention of ignoring the after effects of Avengers the first movie. So that being said, you have all this you have all of these movies affecting the other movies and TV series and Marvel. They take everything into account. They don't ignore one or two different things that, may or may not make sense. So, then you got DC. With DC, they've had, while Marvel was putting out, cinematic masterpieces, they were putting out their own movies, like the trilogy of Batman movies, which, granted, the director had flat out said that it was just going to be one of those things to where it's its own entity, and I can respect that. I can, but well, you have these TV series that are gold. Really, they're really good. You have the Flash, you have Supergirl, you have Arrow, and they're not gonna bother bringing them into their own JLA movie. They have the character set up, they have the perfect actors for them, but they're ignoring it, saying to hell with you. I don't want anything to do with you. So that alone kind of puts a nail in their own coffin. The fact that they're willing to ignore already set up resources just to be able to spin out a faster movie so that they can earn more revenue. I get it. Their company might be hurting. I mean, Marvel was before Disney bought them out. But in the long run, you would think that Marvel's example would show all movie companies the right way to produce a superhero movie. Now, I'm gonna give Logan this. Logan was a cinematic masterpiece in my opinion. It was. It was perfection. It was perfection. It had years and years to build up to that movie. Now, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to give spoilers. But if you haven't seen it, you really should see it. If it's even still out in theaters, which I kind of doubt. But no. So you have Marvel and DC. Clearly, I'm going to pick Marvel, but I'm not really looking for what I want. I'm looking for how can DC manage to make the JLA movie anything but a disaster. Now, the Batman vs Superman movie, I was not expecting much. I wasn't. I wasn't expecting anything from that movie. It turned out to be a lot better than I thought. It took parts from comics and integrated it very nicely into the movie. There are cameos. It was a well done movie. I'm sure people want to argue that. That's just my opinion. I'm not so much of a complicated man. I like things, and well, I don't need to be nitpicky to be able to to be able to like them, you know. Um, but that's just me. You have Marvel versus DC comics. Who can tell? They both had masterpiece comic books, you know. But you know the times are changing. People don't want to sit down with the comic book as much as they did now. They can just pull up their tablet or their laptop. You know, they can just do that and read a comic that way. I mean, I prefer comic books. You know, there's something to be said about the mystique of opening up a fresh comic book and reading. But yeah, that's just me. I never did like reading on tablets or phones or laptops. But back on track. Do I think the JLA movie will be any good? Hmm. Mm, I want it to be. I do. I think everybody does. But me, personally, I think it will be good in its own merits, but ultimately, I don't think it will go over well. So, if I had to give a straight yes or no answer, my answer would be no. And yeah, I get that that might build controversy, but no, I don't think it will win. I don't think it will go over super well. And if it does, awesome. I am so glad to hear that because that means a part two and spin off movies and more JLA. But when I think of the JLA, I don't think of JLA Unlimited or these comics or I don't even think about them. See, you know, TV series, JLA Unlimited or the original JLA series. What I think about was a fun four four series book. Sorry, four comic book. Once again, sorry, four comic series, a short series. Something that a lot of you may recognize as the JLA versus the Avengers. Now, I was lucky enough for my mom to be able to have all four signed by the author himself, which is really nice. Those comic book pages, the covers alone were just the artist deserves a medal for them. If you haven't looked it up, go look at the covers online. I'm sure Google Images has it. I I don't think the JLA movie will be a success.